Hi, my name is Carissa Meyer, and I can genuinely say the MDS program has changed the perspective I take on my future. From my skepticism at the start of the program to realizing the applicability to helping me genuinely find a path to follow, the lessons in leadership, cooperation, but mostly self-acceptance and accountability are the highlights of my reflections on this experience. At first, analyzing personality traits through online quizzes seemed arbitrary and predictable, but their results showed me that I've been pursuing something that I thought meant success, rather than something that is fulfilling. I didn't know what to expect when I started this program, especially not with leadership was somehow identified in the title of the degree. When the discussion arose about how college isn't worth the lessons, but showing an employer that you know how to learn, however, that was the spark that caught my attention. The lessons I've taken away just in this one semester have already changed my perspective on what leadership is, how leadership is truly defined for myself, and by taking control of my own destiny. In my initial map of steps I would take towards my end goal, to become an art therapist, just the act of creating an actionable map changed my perspective on what the future would actually require down that path. Putting these steps down on paper made them more concrete and accessible, but at the same time more realistic. Doubling my student loans, moving to Arizona, and ending up in a field that doesn't pay much more than what my previous employment was put a realistic spin on something that I'd always assumed would be much easier, and I found this to be very disheartening. Through that disappointment, though, I began to reflect on what we've discussed in this course, the importance of maximizing each opportunity and playing to your strengths, thinking about leadership and moving forward in a creative way, really drilling down to the heart of what was creating each one of those branches in the tree I first drew out. By utilizing the feedback from my classmates and our discussions, specifically when working together, and accepting alternative methods to the same end in our group project, I may have allowed some perception of success to become more important than happiness itself. Without our personality analysis and discussions about realistic goals, I probably would have continued to seek jobs that made me miserable simply because they were difficult for me. Somehow, difficulty equaled achievement in my mind. This course keeps reinforcing the importance of taking advantage of natural strengths, which is something I'd been fighting. For me, those strengths have always been with the developmentally disabled and with children. My mother's been telling me to go into special education my whole life, but I wasn't ready. I hadn't had the life experiences, and I hadn't seen who I was and what was important. Because working with children and those with disabilities comes easily to me, the idea of using that as a profession always felt like phoning it in. The lesson I've learned more than anything is that finding these strengths and where excellence lies, because without natural strength and the desire to wake up and be better every day, whether it's on a football field or in a classroom, that was the common thread that the leaders we studied found where their heart is happiest. Without the program, I would have never found out about the paraprofessional program. To become a teacher with my existing education and with the combination of the flexibility afforded by the MDS program online with my cumulative credits, it's entirely possible that I could have my own classroom this fall after I graduate in the spring, just next semester. It may not be a therapist license, but it's an opportunity to touch lives in a meaningful way every day, and in a field and manner that is so needed right now. And that's without taking into account that my previous academic experience and professional experience both fit so much better into that field of work, because it's where my heart has always wanted to be. And it's just that I could never see it before. It's not giving up. It might be an alternative route to the same end, maybe, but none of us really know where the road ends anyway. And for me, the MDS program has been a worthwhile turnoff on their free way of life, and hopefully to discover just where that road will lead me.